Being a digital nomad has been a hot topic over the last few years. Traveling around the world, staying anywhere you want while earning an income sounds like the dream, isn't it? In today's video, we're going to interview a digital nomad couple from Singapore, and they will explain to you exactly what it means to be a digital nomad, what the challenges are, and lots more. Hi, I'm Fran, one half of the Corporate Breakout Couple. Welcome to another episode of Ordinary People with Extraordinary Stories. If you're new to this channel, my husband John and I broke out of the corporate rat race in the year 2020 and retired at the age of 40. We're currently residing in Penang, but we also call Singapore our homes. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. And for all our subscribers, welcome back! Hey guys, so I'm sitting here with Ian, and Ian and his wife Ning are now both in Penang, and they've come to Penang to check out Penang to see whether this is something that they will want to stay in long term. Ian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Ian. Me and my wife Ning, we are both 33 this year. We are Singaporeans and we are currently working remotely as digital nomads, and we're trying to travel to different cities, try to experience living in different places to see how it is.
Awesome. What did you guys do before you became digital nomads?
So my wife Ning, previously she runs a bakery. So after that we managed to sell off the business. So right now she's actually working online as an illustrator and a project manager.
Wow.
For myself, actually to be honest, I've always been a digital nomad per se before the term was coined, just because my work have always been working for a US company. Once I graduated, I started traveling around to help them to run hackathons and events around the region. But my background has been in VC and also working with startups and in that scene.
Okay, yeah. And what are you currently doing now?
So for Ning, she's illustration, she's doing project management. Myself, I'm a business owner, so I run my own biotech company. At the same time, I also do a bit of like consulting on the side for marketing for other companies as well.
So what made you and Ning take the leap and become digital nomads?
Yeah, it's been a very long planning process.
Okay.
We've always wanted to travel the world. We purposefully design our jobs or try to get jobs that allow us to work anywhere in the world and to make money. The reason for it is because we wanted to experience more of the world. We know outside of Singapore there's a lot more different cultures and food that we want to experience. And yeah, we're young right now, so we want to take the chance to actually start experiencing it now rather than push it back later.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now is always the best time, right?
Yeah, correct.
So how's it been so far as a digital nomad? Can you share?
For sure, it's a very unique experience. I think there are good and bad. Right, the good is what everybody imagine. You get to travel, you get to see different people, understand different like local situations that you normally wouldn't see if you're just a normal tourist, right? But I think of course the other side is that we are still working, right? So at the end of the day, we are still doing in the day we're still at our desk, we're still doing work. But during break times, we can go and have a little break, walk around the markets and stuff like that. But again, it's just a job first, right? Then after that, during weekends, that's where it becomes very fun. We get to see different scenery, different things that we couldn't see in Singapore, right? We can hike mountains, we can go to coastal walks, we can go fishing and see dolphins and stuff like that. So,
wow.
So all these are the different facets to it, yeah. So it's been very nice.
And how long have you guys been traveling already, and how many countries?
Yeah, so we started in March. Actually, we were traveling quite avidly before then, but we weren't like digital nomads per se. So we did like 5 months, 4 countries, but mostly in Asia. Later this year, we are trying to expand out to Europe, but we'll see where it takes us.
Wow,
yeah.
Cool. Some challenges that you and Ning faced during your time as digital nomads?
For sure, digital nomads is not perfect, right? There are also challenges. So one main thing is the need to actually keep moving around. So ultimately, you don't have a home base where you have your comfortable standing desk, your nice seat, your monitors. You're constantly working with a laptop mostly, right? We can use different ways to elevate the laptop and stuff. But I think it's the need to really find comfort very quickly in different places that you live. So say for example, we spend a couple of months here. When we enter a new Airbnb or a new place, we need to quickly understand, okay, get our bearings right, where to set up our office and where our bed and stuff. So that the getting used to is a bit challenging. Some places it's a hit and miss. Sometimes it's a bit not as comfortable. So we have to live with it for at least like a couple of weeks, then we move on. But those are okay, okay sacrifices for us, especially because right now our bodies are able to take it. So I think that will be the main thing. The second thing is more on connections with family, right? So I mean, people at home, they are celebrating the family days and stuff, and for us, we are quite close with our families. So that's where I think missing out gets a little bit. We feel that we'll be missing out of what we have back home, and I think that's more the emotional element. But I think from there, our family understand as well, our friends understand as well. So yeah, again, just getting used to it. Nothing's perfect, but yeah, we're just really fortunate to be able to do this right now as well.
You mentioned the other day when we met that Singapore was too perfect. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, that one Singaporeans will flame me. No, I think the basis is traveling in different countries, especially in Southeast Asia, developing countries. We appreciate Singapore a lot more, right? We see that Singapore infrastructure works, things work, things just happen. The salary that we make in terms of spending ratio, people say Singapore is very expensive, but actually you look specifically, right? Our earning power to our spending needs is actually, our necessities are actually much lower than say in other countries. So for example, you will never be able to make $5,000 a month and then you spend $3 or $4 per meal, right? Whereas in other countries it's like $5,000 and then you spend like $15 per meal, right? And those are necessities, right? So we're not talking about things like luxuries and stuff. So I think Singapore itself, we really appreciate it. But at the other side, right, is we realize that this perfection puts us in like a sort of like a bubble, right? Everything works, everything is so nice, so comfortable that we don't have a need to venture out because everything is there, right? We go out, nothing is better out there in a sense, right? But I think we still should go out in a sense where we can really then fully appreciate what we have back home, and we also understand how the rest of the world works, and have a more global view. And I think that's my take on like Singapore having a very safe and nice environment for us, being a good but also as a potential barrier for us to be more creative. I
totally agree on that because I'm a Malaysian. I lived in Singapore for 13 years. I freaking love Singapore, right? It's safe, everything works, the transportation. However, I do realize that one tends to get more complacent when in a bubble wrap environment. And we see that, right? We read reports that Singaporeans, their car gets bashed in, they get snatched thief whenever they travel outside. So the sense of complacency is always taken for granted. But this is a good reminder for us, especially for the Singaporeans who want to travel outside of Singapore, to not take things for granted, then that the world out there doesn't work like how it does in Singapore. Ian, the other day you were telling me that Ning is very health conscious, and that's why she has a bakery that focuses on gluten. And you yourself, you're in biotech, right? So the other day you were explaining to John and I about Healthspan versus the Lifespan. Can you elaborate more for our viewers?
For sure. So again, Ning is the health guru among us. So she's trying to get me to eat healthy as much as possible. I love food, so it's difficult, especially in Penang. So basically, Lifespan and Healthspan, the difference is Lifespan is how long we actually live, and Healthspan is how long we are healthy for, right? So physically able, we can define healthy in different ways, maybe free of chronic conditions, physically able, right? Mentally clear, for example. So the fact of the matter is that our lifespan is longer than ever before, right? Our people are living longer than ever, right? Because of science, technology, medicine, right? But the sad thing is our health span, on the other hand, is shortening. So that's actually a very scary thing, because you live longer, but the period of time where you're physically able to really fully enjoy yourself and enjoy life is shorter. So you spend a lot more time suffering, a lot more time bedridden, going to hospitals and stuff. So that's the thing that I'm quite worried about, especially in my field when we are in biotech, right? We look at longevity, for example, and there's a lot of studies being done on that, right? So that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, and I think that struck a chord, because I do realize as well that my friends in their 30s and 40s, they're actually getting sick more often. And you also mentioned about kids being born with certain diseases already, which back in the past 20, 30 years ago, there wasn't such thing, right?
Correct, exactly. Like, it's quite sad, right? So I mean, my circle of friends, more kids have like things like gluten allergies, eczema, skin conditions. Even for young adults, even for us, my generation, when we were born, we don't have this, but we start to develop it even so early, right? And those are all signs that the environment around us is not the same as the past. The food that we're taking is not the same. The ingredients they use are not the same. So for us to assume that we have the same amount of time left on Earth, or the quality time left on Earth is the same as our previous generation, I think it's a very wrong assumption in my books. It's a very tough assumption to make.
Got it.
Yeah.
So knowing this fact about healthspan and lifespan, how does that change your perception about life?
Basically completely changed, right? Because when I was growing up, the whole idea that we work 9 to 5, we save for retirement at age 60. Moving forward in Singapore, it's 65, 70, right? That thing that was added into our brains, right, from very young, wired to us, right, is no longer valid. That's why we decided to, let's enjoy now. The reason for that is because if you think about it, right, it's like we really project out already. So right now, right, we're young, but we are working to save up money to retire. Then after that, when we are ready to retire, semi-retirement age, right, our parents are old, and that's when they need care. So we have to be there for them, right? So then we are also at home with them. So once they, for example, pass on, then it's our turn to fall sick, right? Especially with the health spending, we fall sick even earlier.
Yep.
So there's not really time to retire, right? You spend your whole time working, putting all your life into making money and all that stuff, right? But then at the end of the day, you don't actually get to enjoy it, right? You cannot actually get to you're physically not able to. So that basically gives us the motivation to let's do it now at a responsible way. So that's why we do digital nomading, because we are able to arbitrage or take the difference between the dollars that we earn in Singapore and then spend it in other currencies. So that enables us to live in a more comfortable way, but then not sacrificing on the financials. So we are not like blasting money or burning money, right? But we're doing it in a very responsible way.
Ian, it's so refreshing to hear you talk about retirement at such a tender age of 33, right? And it really amazes me, because my own set of friends who are also my age, like 43, 44, they don't really have any retirement planned out so far. So what are your and Ning plans for either financial independence or early retirement?
So I think different people have different goals, or what they define as financial independence or retirement, right? So for us, our main goal right now is number one, to be able to have enough passive income to live comfortably, let's say anywhere in the world, right? So, but predominantly in the Asia region now, and that will come from strategy of like either renting out, for example, or building up our passive online assets, for example, to really give us enough to actually not even think about money as much. And again, we don't splurge. We're talking about like very basic stuff, right? Accommodation, maybe a car to rent, and food, right? And it's not even restaurants and stuff. We cook mostly. So that's one. But then the second goal for me is, as you mentioned, I'm still relatively early in the journey. It's all about learning, and after I spoke to John as well, right? So I learned that it's all about building up knowledge at this point of time. So I think right now where we are at is for me is really just to gain as much knowledge as possible of the different ways we could do it, learn from people that have done it already, and then once we did it, then we'll start to execute them as we make more, bring more income in to put it inside.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys, because your journey is just beginning.
Yeah.
So wow, can't wait.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any word or advice for anyone who may want to be a digital nomad and do what you guys do?
For sure. So I think the precursor is really to believe in yourself that this is possible. It's something that you can do it, and it's not a like end of all things thing, right? You try it, you don't like it, you can always go back, right? So I think that's the first thing. But then the main thing is there are a lot of opportunities out there, regardless of what field you're in. If you think deeper, there might be skills that you know about or you don't know about that are transferable to be a remote skill. Take it and put it out to the market, right? Just go out there. There are a lot of platforms out there that connects you to gigs online, and start making currencies that are stronger than your currency. And that's where the true opportunity comes in, because now I've seen people in Vietnam, in Thailand, locally making like a local wage, but then their skill sets they're actually worth a lot more overseas, right? right? So why not just use this remote working as a way for you to even increase your lifestyle, even if it's not about traveling, right? But it's about just improving your lifestyle, making more, increase your earning power. I think just put your skill set out there, and then that's probably my main thing, just to do it because a lot of people don't actually do it, you see.
And that wraps up our interview with Ian on his digital nomad journey. Ian, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to our channel, and we want to wish you all the best in your travels.
Thank you so much for having me.